Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Healthy Minute. As promised, I brought a very important guest on today's episode. Her name is Arielle Lowen. She is currently the two-time fittest mom on earth, currently fittest mom in the world to me, two-time Games athlete. And we're just gonna learn about her life, why she does what she does on a daily basis, and what she strives to be. I'm gonna let her introduce herself. Um, you can go ahead. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love being on podcasts and just getting to know people and like their passions and where they live and how different it is from me. So, thanks for having me. Kind of like you said, my name's Arielle Lowen. I'm two-time fittest mom in America, two-time CrossFit Games athlete, but those are just fun titles that I throw on Instagram, but really like my day-to-day life is being a wife, being a mom to my 4-year-old daughter, and just balancing CrossFit in the mix of those things. But I'm this past 2 years, so like I say, two-time fittest mom, two-time CrossFit Games athlete, 21 and 22, I feel like I've been living my dream life. So it's been so fun to just be a mom, be a stay-at-home wife, and then have like my dream athletic career unfold in the process.
When you say being a mom, how do you balance being a mom and CrossFit and all of the other, endeavors that you have? Like, I know you do a lot of things with branding and companies. So how do you balance everything?
I think balance is really hard, just like anybody being a student. But for me, I've learned to like prioritize. So like I love doing podcasts, meeting people, but I've learned that like I can only do one a day in the evening. Otherwise, I'll get overwhelmed and I feel like there's too much to do. So being a mom is like I'll have to prioritize. I train from like 11 to 2 or 11 to 1 because that's when it works best for my daughter. And then if I have any business stuff to do, it's in the afternoons, and then I'll make dinner and we'll kind of relax as a family. So it's just like learning what works for me and learning how to say no to people. I learned that this past year training for the games. I really had to set boundaries of like, I love you, you're my friend, but I can only hang out Wednesday and Thursday. Otherwise, I'll get really overwhelmed with like my daughter that I have to take care of, or my husband expects me to clean the house or make food. So it's just juggling like how to stay balanced and like what keeps me at peace.
And, I see you say like you have to set those boundaries. Would you think that'll be the hardest thing you've had to do, like up to this point? Like, what
Yeah, I
would
would
you
say,
consider the hardest thing?
yeah, I'd say that because I'm a people pleaser and I like keeping people happy. I like making people happy. But this past year, I learned that in order for me to be pleasant, like sometimes I would get home in the evening and just be so overstimulated because I'm doing so much that I would not even want to train the next day or get frustrated and just lash out at my daughter, lash out at my husband. And I kind of had to like sit back and be like, why do I feel like this? Okay, I feel like this because I'm extremely overwhelmed. I made way too many plans to go here, go there, go there. I need to do one thing a day and just really try to like, I feel like a toddler to say, like, I can only do one thing a day, but it's really helped me like simplify my life and like, it's okay to be home after 5 p.m. I'm done going out for the day and I'm home with my family. Just like important boundaries like that have helped me mentally stay peaceful.
I know, like with me personally, I catch myself wanting to do everything in the world. Like
Yep.
sometimes I overschedule myself and then I get frustrated and get annoyed because I just put like a million things in place that I have to get done, but I could have spread it out over a period of time. So like mentally, it flutters me, and then I start getting anxious, and then I get in that mood where it's so much that I just don't do any of it. So how
Exactly.
about the mental aspect? Like what is like I don't know how you think of like, like how do you think about it to get it done, even though it's
I,
so.
f- I know. I feel like you really have to be mature. Kind of like you said, you have to be real with yourself and be like, man, I am grumpy right now and I have no motivation. Okay, why do I feel like this? What in my day has led up to this? And you have to like be real with yourself of like, I'm rude right now because I tried to please this person to meet up with lunch at 3 o'clock when I should have just said no and stayed home and kept the peace in my brain and in my family. Just being real and mature. Like I don't want to say immature people will blame other people, but it's hard to really self-reflect and be like, okay, I am the problem right now. What did I do and how can I fix this?
So sometimes no is the best answer.
As
Even
bad as,
even though
yeah,
like very it comes off as rude, it's still the best answer for everybody.
yeah. Or just knowing like I can only handle one big plan a day. So just knowing like what my limits are versus someone else might be able to just go, 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 go all day. It just doesn't work for me.
And so over the period of time, I know so far it's like you're really mentally strong. So have you always been that way, or did it take time, or was there a point where you were ever like vulnerable and then you realized like, hey, I need to work on this, and then you worked on it? But so were you always as mentally strong as you are, or how do you?
No, I've grown so much. I lived with my parents until I was like 25. So I would say like I was very immature up until I was 25. And then I had tried to make it to the games 8 times in a row, was dating my husband or boyfriend at the time. I think this was 2018. Um, I didn't qualify for the games. I just finished school, but I didn't really have a big girl job, still living with my parents. And then I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. So it was like all of my identity of what I thought I was just kind of got crashed when I got pregnant. And I actually like was religious before then, but it wasn't until that moment that I like actually found God and that God forgives and he kind of gave me my identity. And ever since 2018, I've just been like very grounded in who God says I am, how he's forgiven me, how like my peace is just in him, if that makes sense.
That
And
makes
so I've just tried to live in that truth and like the truth that he says I am, not what the world says. And just it really helps me stay peaceful and helps me remember my identity.
And I know you said you like tried for the games 8 times. Like I know it had
Yeah.
like pretty discouraging to, you try for something, you just don't get it. You try for it, you just don't
Mm-hmm.
like it's always like you keep falling short. I know you get tired.
Exactly.
Some people like in life and in other careers or endeavors, they keep trying for stuff and then they keep falling short. But then they just quit altogether when if they would have tried like that one more time, it probably would have been that little.
Exactly.
So what was the mindset like to just keep trying even though you just kept falling short? Like why did you keep trying?
I think like anyone, you're just passionate. Like you love it. You have to love it to fail at it and then try again. I tried and tried and tried. And then 2018, when I did get pregnant, I feel like I retired, quote unquote. And I was like, okay, I'm done competing. If I couldn't make it as a single, like part time worker, like all this time invested in CrossFit, there's no way I'm going to transition to being a mom, having a lot more responsibilities, a lot less sleep, a lot less time, and then qualify for the games. Like in my head, I was like, there's no way. So that's when I know like God redeemed and really changed my whole perspective. And working out became more of I'm going to work out for health. I'm going to work out to lose the baby weight. I'm going to work out to mentally get back on track because it was like change of being married, change of having kids. Mentally working out was like the only normalcy in my life. So once I like changed my perspective, it's almost like my body started thriving more than I could have expected.
And would you think like having your husband there and your kids there as a form of support kind of help push you like just to keep? Because I know there's some days where you just don't want to do anything like that. There's that mindset like I feel like I don't care who you are. It's like there's that mindset where there's some days you're just like, oh, man, I really don't want to go into the gym. I really don't want to go do this. I really don't want to go do that. But it's like I
Right.
can do that. Like is having them there kind of that extra motivation, extra push to just get up and keep grinding?
I would say when it comes to competing, absolutely. Like it's awesome to know when I step on the competition floor, if I get first in the workout or last, I still come home to people who love me regardless of the place. But for me, mentally working out is like a form of therapy. It's like mental release. I don't always want to get in the gym, but once I'm in the gym and I work out, I just have so much peace and I just feel like mentally I'm so much nicer when I come out of the gym versus when I go in.
Okay. Yeah.
But I will say, I think I saw this on a post. It was like, you'll never regret working out. So, as hard as it is to get to the gym and put your clothes on and drive there, like, you'll never leave being like, oh, I'm so mad. I just ran a mile. It wasted my, like, it just doesn't happen.
And I always wanted to like experience this or get somebody's opinion on this. Like you said that, when you're out there in the games floor, it's just a real that feeling. Like, how does it feel to once you're on the games floor, the lights are on you, there's everybody in the stadium in Wisconsin. It's just like, how is that feeling?
I think it's a little too surreal for me to sink in the moment, but it's super, super cool. We'll go back and like an athlete will watch footage. So when I go back and watch footage from the games, it's just mind blowing to be like, I was there. I was on, like, I was part of 2022 CrossFit history because I participated in it. But I actually went and competed at Wadapalooza in Miami not too long ago.
All that, yeah.
And the first 2 days I was a spectator. And then the last 2 days I competed on team. So I just couldn't believe to spectate one of those events. People show up to the venue like 3 hours beforehand just to get a good seat.
Oh.
So being an athlete, I just walk on the floor, smile and wave, and then 3, 2, 1, go, I start. But I didn't realize how much people love it that they would just sit there and wait for people to come out and compete. They'll wait there 2 hours just to see it. So it really made me appreciate people
I've been watching the games I think I started watching CrossFit back in 2017, I want to say.
Okay.
And it's definitely grown, like from what I've seen, like how much recognition it gets and how many people are actually trying to get it. And like all the gyms that are starting to pop up everywhere, it has truly grown, and it's becoming a dominating sport.
Yeah.
And now it's going to, more countries, more people coming from different countries are able to come compete. So I think that's actually good for the sport. Were you looking forward to it being in Alabama rather than Wisconsin, or it doesn't really matter?
It doesn't matter a ton, but I've only ever been to Wisconsin. So to me, like, I'm familiar with the city a little bit. I'm familiar with where I want to eat, where I want to stay. So it feels a little bit more like home than I feel like Alabama would. But I also heard horror stories about the humidity there and the heat, which I've personally never been. But I was like, oh, that would make a whole different ball game.
As a person who lives in Georgia, the humidity down here is kind of like, it's insane.
That's what I heard. And I also heard, like, if you're doing pull-ups, your hands will rip more often because they're so moist and humid on the bar. So I don't know if factors like that would play into it.
Speaking of last year's games, the Capitol, the big event that everybody loved, like I think that was my
It's
favorite.
magical.
All of it. What was your mind going through that event? I know it was gruesome, but
it was gruesome. It was gruesome, but in like the most beautiful way. Like, I'm sure when you were watching on camera, you could see, look, they're running here on the trail. Okay, now they're by the Capitol. Now they're going up the Capitol steps. Like, it very much felt like Rocky and people cheering you on to get to the finish line. But there are like little parts of the Capitol that I remember for myself. Like, of course, we started with the pig flips, and then we run out and run this long trail. And somehow my brother-in-law and husband find me on the trail and jog with me for like half a mile, and then I make it up to where all the people are. And then from there, it's like, I almost feel like I blacked out in moments because it was just like so gruesome. It's like I halfway remember carrying the bag, halfway remember it on my back because I'm so fatigued. Just like, I don't even know how I got to the top, but I was super, super, as hard as it was, I'm so glad that I was able to do it because, like you said, it's monumental. Like, you're never going to forget that.
But that was like, I was like, now that was that was awesome. That was
Wasn't
probably
that so smart?
one like workout that I have seen them program to this day. But
Absolutely. And yeah, from a spectator standpoint and just involving how beautiful the Capitol is, the amount of people that were surrounding it, it was amazing.
So what are your plans for the upcoming season? I know the Open is right around the corner. So how
I
are you
know.
training and working for it? Are you nervous? Are you scared?
I think every athlete, I mean, you might know, gets scared for the Open because regardless if you're the fittest in the world or not the fittest in the world, it still hurts at some capacity. My training has looked really different this season. I've really focused on strength. So I might do a maybe 30-ish minute cardio piece, and then I'm doing an hour and a half of like my heart rate is not getting high, just straight up strength stuff, which is very different for me because I'm comfortable with the moving, die on the floor. But when you have just like lateral raises and front raises, like it's just very different.
Yeah.
Very different. But my goal is to improve my strength like by 5%. So if I can get 5% stronger, every element is going to feel just a little bit easier. What
And
about you? How many years have you done the Open?
I didn't do it last year, but I did it the year before, the year before last, and the year like before that.
Okay. Are you
It,
going to do it this year?
last year. No, because I had surgery last year, so I didn't do it last year. So I did
Would you
it.
have surgery?
I had brain surgery. I had so I have hydrocephalus, and so I had
Oh,
a
wow.
surgery to help correct it. Well, it's a lifelong issue, but it's to help correct it now. So hopefully it doesn't revert back.
So can you do everything working out wise, or how do you?
Before that, like, so I was diagnosed in December of 2021, and I couldn't lift any like heavy weights, or I couldn't like I couldn't do anything to cause me to strain or do anything because it'll help the pressure inside my brain was already at an increased level.
Wow.
And so it would have increased it even more. So I stopped working out like altogether for I was diagnosed in December, so I didn't work out again until like July, like heavy lifting. I did like some things that I could control it, like 30s on the dumbbells and stuff like that. But rather as like me trying to do 70s and all the other stuff, I couldn't. I was also in nursing school, and if I would have did
Mm.
surgery in the spring, I would have to medically withdraw, which means I wouldn't be graduating until December this year. So I said, I'm just going to stop working out, take it easy, do everything doctors tell me to do, graduate nursing school because he wanted me to graduate nursing school. That's why he pushed the surgery off until the summer.
Right.
Then I was like, then I
Wow.
have surgery, I'll just work my way back. And I've slowly been working my way back, trying to get
Good
back.
for you. But yours is for health, not like you're trying to just stay healthy and work out. Good for you. Way different perspective.
But yeah, I mean, I love the grind. Like you said, you can never leave the gym. You can't leave the gym mad or like if you're in a mood, go to the gym. I promise you, you won't leave the gym with that same mood.
Exactly.
I always go to the gym. I'm leaving. I'm like, man, that was a good workout. Or even if it's only like 15 minutes, get on the stair stepper or hit a quick upper body day. That's nice, easy, nothing to push myself. I always walk out feeling good.
Yeah,
I
I
think
do
it's
too.
a form of therapy. It's been a good form of therapy for me. That's why I probably love it so much. People
Yeah, well,
all the
yeah,
time.
especially a student. I've been there. I went and got my undergrad and then went and got my master's in business, so MBA. And there's nothing like sitting and reading a book and doing homework and then like mentally stepping away from it. That's so fulfilling.
Yes. It's like, oh man, I'm so stressed. But then you go to that gym after that long class period or something like that, and you're just like, just let it go.
Yep. Let it go for a minute. And then when you come home, you're like, crap, I've got to do this and this and this and this.
While you there for that hour, 2 hour,
Yeah,
however,
yeah.
you just forget about it.
Exactly. A little bit of peace.
Like I've been trying to find different things to keep me in tune. Like I do different challenges. The month of January, my friend asked me, "Hey, you want to go like added sugar free or different like try to get rid of all the junk and stuff?" I did, and it was nice. Now
Yeah.
I'm 50 weighted push-ups a day, kind of to
Good for
teach
you.
accountability and to stay motivated to keep going. Because I don't think I stay motivated for a long period of time personally. So I have to find ways to force myself to stay motivated to get over that
Yeah.
limit. I want to be motivated.
Yeah. Well, you find what works for you. And I think that's the beauty of fitness is like what you do might not work for me, what I do wouldn't work for you, but it's so individualized and you can thrive in your own way.
So just if somebody wanted to, start CrossFit or start lifting, what advice would you give them? What would you tell them? Like, how would how would you approach them? If somebody say if I approached you and asked you what to do and how to do it, what would you tell me?
Oh, that's so hard because I feel like what I do is I feel like I get crazier as I do more CrossFit. So like as the years have gone on, I'll add more reps or more time domains. But I would say the main thing is just starting with something that's sustainable and that you can stay consistent with. It's like the first like 5 years I did CrossFit, I just went to the CrossFit class, showed up 1 hour a day and did whatever they told me. And it worked perfect for my schedule and I could stay consistent because people kept me accountable. But I would say honestly, I'm so like far removed right now because I'm training at such a different level. I would say step one is literally find a gym you like and just show up. If you love it, stay there. If you don't, try a different gym. But just go to where you get like a sense of peace or where they help motivate you, keep you accountable. So just really find what you can stay consistent at.
And to all the moms out there, would you have any advice for them to, because you're a
Yeah.
mom yourself and you've
Yeah.
proven it
I
could
would
be.
I would say the same thing as you. Like you get overwhelmed, but when you step into the gym, it's such a mental release. So I would just say find a gym with a daycare, find a gym maybe with a 5 a.m. class if that's the only time you can go. Just find something that you could sustainably do 3 to 5 days out of the week. Because I mean, even the beginning of the year, people get all these crazy challenges. Like, I'm going to work out 5 days a week and only eat vegetables. And it's like, you can't sustain that. You go to like, soon as you go to a birthday party and there's cake, you'll just fall apart. So it's like, what can you do to sustain it over years, not just a month or 2 months?
I agree. Um, I have one more. So I saw last questions. I saw you went and trained with CrossFit Mayhem.
Yes.
I know that was awesome
Uh,
training with Rich and everybody. Do you think
yeah. Are you a follower of Rich? Like, have you watched him as he went through CrossFit?
I have him and Matt Frazier? I watched them all. Like,
Yep. Yep.
I would say they call him. I feel like he's more like the Godfather of CrossFit or something like that.
I totally agree. Oh, that whole experience though was magical because you've got the facility, which is beautiful in itself, and then you've got like a class going on over here, a kids class, and then you've got to me like the celebrities of CrossFit, Rich Froning, Roman training. You've got Guy there training. So to me, I was felt more like a fangirl of just like, okay, here's Guy, here's Roman, here's Rich, and they're just throwing down like it's just a normal day in the gym.
I bet that was awesome.
But it was so awesome. And what also blew my mind is just the whole environment felt light and uplifting. Like the whole time I was there, all they played was worship music. And it was maybe on like 60% volume. Whereas when I'm training, it's like turn up the music all the way. I need my special playlist. So it was just beautiful to see that they're just there to work, they're there to grind and just keep their mind like at peace. So just a completely different training environment. But it made me think and reflect on a lot of like they almost seemed like they were there and it was like a sense of peace. Whereas a lot of times when we step in the gym, at least personally, I'm like, okay, how loud can I get the music and how much of a beat can I get to motivate myself to lift it? And it was almost like they didn't even need that.
Or do you hope to get to that point one day to where it's just like you saw them, it's like somebody's looking at you and like, I want to work out like that. It's just like she has that peace.
Exactly. But I do think it takes training. So I don't really know how they got there, but it was neat to see a little glimpse of it and like make me reflect on what I need to do to copy that.
Well, I think that's all the questions I got, but I am totally grateful for you taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know we've been planning this for months and
I know. I'm so sorry the other day when you're
no,
like 2:30 and I was like, crap, I did not write that on my calendar at all.
you texting us. I used to live in Kansas and Minnesota,
Okay.
and you text me Central Time, and I forgot like it's Central Time an hour before or an hour. After I was like, I can't remember.
Oh
I said
no.
Google 2:30 Central Time. So,
Right. Well, thank you for being flexible. I do appreciate it.
but yeah, thank you for taking your time out today. It was awesome. I hope you do great this season. I'll be following you for sure. Bye.
Thank you. Hey, good luck. When do you start your bachelor's?
I've already started.
Oh, I thought you were graduating in the spring.
So I graduated last spring.
Last spring. Oh, so
So
you're
this
in the
past spring,
grind.
I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
And I started my bachelor's this past August, and I should graduate this summer.
You're so close. And then will you go right in the fall to your master's?
I'm gonna take a few months off to kind of decompress
Yeah.
a little bit from school, kind of enjoy
Yeah,
life with no
I don't blame
deadline.
you. Yeah. Just live. Like
Yeah,
that's it.
just live.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
go into possibly nurse practitioning, hopefully in the spring.
I love it. Well, I'll be following along, cheering you on. Best of luck.
Best of luck to you. I hope you do great. I'll be following you, and thank you for taking time out of your day to meet with me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye.